Percent of change. The formula for percent change is not exact, but as long as you understand if it's getting bigger or smaller, then you'll be able to tell which is which. Okay, so the formula for percent change, all we have to do is you take your larger amount and subtract off the smaller amount, and then you're going to divide that by your original, your starting amount. Okay, and then if start with a small, then it's a percent increase. If you start with the bigger, then it is a percent decrease because it's getting smaller. And then that's the only formula you're going to need to know. So for this first example, we want to find the percent of change from 82 down to 38. So I'm going to take 82, my larger, minus my 38, which is my smaller amount, and I'm going to divide it by the original. This is the original. Okay, so that means I'm going to divide it by 82. So that's going to give me 44 over my original amount, which was 82. 44 divided by 82 is 0.537 if you round that off. And then I need to make it into a percentage, so I'm going to move it 2 spots, and I get 53.7%. And I'm going from the bigger one to the smaller one, so that means it's a 53.7% decrease. And that's your final answer. For this next example, we're going to go from 75 to 45. So from 75 to 45, my original is 75. So I'm going to take my bigger one, 75, minus my smaller one, 45, and then divide it by my starting amount, which is 75. And then 75 minus 45 is 30 divided by 75. So when I divide 30 by 75, I get 0.4. And then when I turn that into a percentage, I move it 2 spots and add my percentage sign. So I would get 40%, and again, it's going from larger to smaller, so it's a decrease. And that would be your final answer. For example 3, we're going to go from 33 to 47. So when I set this one up, I'm going to take my larger one, 47, and subtract off my smaller one, which is 33. Then I'm going to divide it by my original, which is 33. So be careful how you set it up. The next step, 47 minus 33 is 14 over 33. Then you type that into the calculator, and you would get 14 divided by 33 is 0.424242. So I'm going to round it to 0.424. And then I'm going to move my decimal point and add my percentage. So I have 42.4%, and that is going from the smaller one to the bigger one, so it is an increase. And that would be your final answer. For this last example, I'm going to go from 16 to 30. So I'm going to take my bigger one, minus my smaller one, and then I'm going to divide that by my original, the first one. Okay, so when I subtract 30 minus 16, I would get 14 over my original, which was 16. 14 divided by 16, you get 0.875. Okay, so now what we have to do is just move our decimal point, add our percentage, and we get 87.5%, and it's going from the smaller one to the bigger one, so it is an increase. And that would be your final answer. So those are your notes over percent of change problems and understanding increase and decrease. Go through your practice problems, make sure you can do both types of these problems, then you should be ready for your quiz over this material.